Hi everyone, welcome to Simplicity TV. I am Jen Pike, your host. Welcome to my house. Welcome to one of my favorite places in my house, which is on my couch, wearing one of my favorite sweaters. Namaste with my dog. And she is right there, snuggled up and sleeping. I wanted to do this couch series because one of the things I love the most is bringing women into my home and having girlfriend conversations. And, you know, kind of like I call this whole series Cut the BS because I just get straight to the point. And today I want to talk to you about your thyroid and more specifically about thyroid testing. I think it's fair enough to say that this is an epidemic of the masses. It is primarily affecting women. Men do have issues with thyroid as well, but it is primarily affecting women. I taught a webinar last night and I shared with people that for the last few months, every couple of weeks, I have had a woman email me and reach out that has been diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And I'm just like, the first couple of times this happened, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awful for this individual. And then it happened again, and that's so horrible for this individual. And then I just kept getting the reach outs, and I was like, seriously, what the is going on? How is this something that's become so prevalent? And all it takes is digging a little deeper to understand that when you are going to your family doctor for your yearly physical and your checkup, when you feel, you know, deep down inside something is off. You're losing hair, you're gaining weight, you're not sleeping, you're constipated, your skin is dry, you're cold all the time, your memory has diminished, you have zero sex drive, you've got heart palpitations, your anxiety is increasing, you're depressed where you've never been before, all of these things start to happen and you begin to do your own research. And you're like, oh my gosh, these are all the signs of a thyroid issue. I think something's going on with my thyroid. And you go to your family doctor and you ask for a thyroid panel or a thyroid test, because most people don't even know there's a panel. Doctor says, yep, sure, I'll do your thyroid test. And so they measure one value, which is TSH. This is your thyroid stimulating hormone. The results come back, you're fine, you're fine. Now, you don't even actually know if you're fine because they're the one holding the information. Rarely, like I fall over if a doctor has voluntarily sat down and taken a client through the actual results or handed them the paper results without asking. Like I literally fall over because it never happens. So you don't even actually know what is that range. Where are you in that fine range? And so you leave and you're like, well, the good news is my thyroid is fine. Bad news is I still feel like garbage, yet I'm fine. And so in the paperwork, everything is healthy. So it must be in my mind, right? Must just be me. And so we struggle and we do this oftentimes. I mean, for years, the latest stats are it takes 4.8 years and the average of 5 different practitioners for somebody to actually be fully diagnosed with a thyroid disease or an autoimmune condition. That is crazy to me that it takes that long to happen. Because the reality is when you have any level of a breakdown in the endocrine system that is affecting, whether it's your thyroid, your adrenals, your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, your ovaries, that this has been going on behind the scenes for years, sometimes a decade, if not longer. And if we're not doing our due diligence as practitioners, guiding you to request the right information, as the doctors who can actually do the requisitions and give you the lab work to take to the lab themselves, we are not doing our job. We are doing you a disservice and we are letting you, your health, and your body down. And you're part of this as well too. You need to be educated and understand. So here's what you really need to know. TSH is produced by your pituitary gland in your brain. It stimulates your thyroid. It's called the thyroid stimulating hormone to then produce the key forms of your thyroid hormones, which are free T4 and free T3. Now, free T4 produced by your thyroid has to actually convert into T3, which is the usable metabolic active form of this hormone in your body. This is where you hear the terms like, oh, your thyroid controls your metabolism, it's your internal thermostat, and all of these things. Yes, that is true, as long as your cells are actually uptaking and receiving this information. But there has to be this conversion that takes place. Now, if you have high levels of something called reverse T3, it blocks this action from happening. If you have elevated levels of your 2 thyroid antibodies, thyroid peroxidase and antithyroid globulin, this is now a bigger issue. We are possibly, most definitely, looking at an autoimmune condition. If you aren't going in and requesting TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, and those 2 antibody values, we are not getting the full picture of your thyroid health. Now, You'll go in and ask your doctor. They'll say, no, your TSH is fine, you're healthy. I can't actually request those extra tests because OHIP and the governing body above me will slap me on the hand because you are otherwise healthy. There's nothing red flag going on yet where I need to test that. Now, here's the problem with this. Number one, doctors are not like ganging up against us. They want to help you, but they're getting squeezed for time. The average general practicing family doctor now has 7 minutes with a patient. 7 minutes. That is barely enough time to ask what your name is and how you are doing. Okay, let alone actually dig deep into your health history or what's going on right now. The other thing is that our OHIP system, and I'm talking here in Canada, in the United States this is different, or for those of you that are tuning in from Australia, Europe, wherever you are, everybody's kind of overheading governing body is different, but I'll explain it to you from here. They're being told to test less and less because we don't pay for our health care, okay? And it costs more money for the government. Now, they don't make money off of that. They pay money out. Where our governing bodies make money is off of different companies that are producing drugs and medications. And so if we wait until your TSH is either really high or really low, or even sitting on kind of like the bank, that threshold of not too good and things going wrong, this is now a prime opportunity to start to talk to you, the patient, as medication. And when you're exhausted and you're tired and your wit center, you're not losing weight and all these things are going on, you're desperate and you're like, give me the medication then. If I can start to feel like myself again, please give me the Thyroid or the levothyroxine. Problem is you don't end up feeling better most of the time because they only looked at one part of the picture. We need to know before we give you any kind of medication or even supplementation for your thyroid, what is the issue? Is it that the thyroid itself is a bit sluggish and it's not receiving the stimulation from the pituitary gland? Is it that you're not producing enough T4 so we can't actually convert it into T3? Or is your T4 levels totally healthy, but your T3 is low because reverse T3 is elevated and it's blocking your body's ability to uptake these hormones? Now I get it, you're sitting here going, what did you even just say? I don't even understand what you just said. And I know you don't because you didn't learn this. And this is the problem, is that none of us are educated in what we need to know about our health. So when we come to a health crisis, we're so flabbergasted, we're so overwhelmed that we end up saying yes to some unhealthy choices because that is what's being provided in front of us. We are also at a time now where here in Ontario and Canada, if you're 25 and younger, your medication is free. So do you think that for the parents or for the teen or the young 20-something who is struggling, who has a fixed budget and income, that they're gonna go and spend their money coming to a functional medicine practitioner, a naturopath, an integrative holistic nutritionist, if they can just get medication that's free? I think we both know what the answer is going to be on that, and that's a big problem. So I am here today, coming from my couch to you wherever you are, to try to get you to sit up a little taller and pay attention. TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, antithyroid globulin, and thyroid peroxidase. You need to ask for these tests. We can only do better with our bodies and by our bodies if we actually have the information that's coming from our own physiology and biology. Push your doctors. If your doctor says no, go to a naturopath. You have to pay out of pocket, but this is an investment, not an expense. You have to understand this. And you have to ask yourself the question, if I've been suffering for this long, if my quality of life has, degraded itself by this much, what are these answers worth to me? And if it comes back and there's nothing wrong with your thyroid, that wasn't a waste of money. That's like, okay, I've now checked off this big box over here. I know this isn't the area that I have to work on. So now this helps to free up the energy here so I can focus on going over to this area, the gut, the lymph system, circulatory, whatever it may be. And maybe that's where I'm going to find my answers. There's no silver bullet. There is no quick way. You have to be prepared to invest in yourself in both time and yes, some resources and some finances in order to actually get the answers. Because if I were to ask you all this right now, go open your cupboards. How many bottles of supplements and different things do you have in your house that have expired, that you don't use, you don't even know what it's for, you just heard somebody talking about it? How many, items of clothing do you have in your house that still have tags on it? How many toys do your children have? How much stuff do you have taking up space in your house? That none of these things are adding one iota of value or joy or happiness or depth in your life. Yet you are sitting here listening to me still feeling like shit. So this is where you have to choose. Pull your energy, pull the excess out of the stuff that you're saying yes to, that you're buying and contributing that is no longer adding value, and free up the energy and free up the finance so that you can start to invest in your own health and vitality. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg and forever, okay? In the beginning, it might to do the work to figure out what really needs to get done, and then you're on your path, then you're on your way. But you can't spend the way you're spending and have the things you have over here and feel like crap there and expect that these two are going to find their way to one another and you're going to get better. It's not going to happen. So this is where you need to pull up your big girl panties and you need to make those changes for yourself and make those decisions. How badly do you want to feel good? That is the ultimate question you need to ask yourself today. All right, it's a big one, I know. Take a breath. Maybe smack the screen a little bit. Take an ohm, do what you gotta do, but then stand up and take action in your life and in your body. We are always here for you at Team Simplicity, so leave us your questions and your comments below, and allow us to be a little bit of support for you where sometimes you don't feel like you're getting it from anywhere else. Have a great rest of your day.